Notes. You have to have a piece of paper out.
Oh, yeah.
We don't do them on the back of the worksheet. Guys, quiet. Triangle inequality theorem. Is this hard? Not really. Is it kind of new and something you're going to have to think about? Yes. The triangle inequality theorem says this. If I have a triangle, it talks about how the sides have to relate to each other. No matter what type of triangle I have, for the sides to work, because this is a triangle, it always has to work out like this. That the sum of any two sides of a triangle always has to be bigger than the third side. So A plus B has to be bigger than C. If it isn't, it can't be a triangle. Okay? It means that it would, if it doesn't work, it might look like that. See how this one's too long? Or this one's too long. Okay? So what I'm saying is that two sides added up have to be bigger than the third. What other inequality would I need to write here? I've only done one situation. What else do you think I could say?
Like C is less than A plus B.
I could flip it around. True. But I've said that A plus B has to be bigger than C. But what I'm saying is that any two sides added together have to be bigger than the third side. So what else could I write here? C plus B. Well, I'm talking about C and B added together. What does that have to be bigger than? What's left? What's the third side? And what would be the last one? I already did A plus B. A plus what? Has got to be bigger than what? See how there's always a third side? When you're trying to figure out if it's possible for these lengths to work for a triangle, you can put it into these three inequalities. If it doesn't work, it can't be the lengths of the triangle. So, first thing you could do, we can jump ahead to our worksheet right now. We're going to go back and forth. We'll come back to this in just a second. It says determine whether if the three numbers can be the measures of the sides of a triangle. Yes or no, and explain. Well, you're going to explain by putting them into the inequalities we just talked about. So how many inequalities are you going to have to write here? 3. First of all, 3 plus 3, that has to be bigger than 3. Is it? Is 6 bigger than 3? Well, for this one, no matter how I do it, I'm always going to get what? I'm going to get 6 greater than 3, correct? Because all three sides are the same, aren't they? So, my answer, can this be a triangle? In every single case, is A plus B bigger than C? So yes, it can. Explain, I just did. Didn't I? I showed how it worked. Now, what could I do first here? 2 plus 3, is that going to be bigger than 4? What do you get? Is that a true statement? So that works. Everybody pay attention, look up here. Stop writing. I'll let you write this down in just a second. Okay, I did 2 plus 3 is greater than 4. What else could I do? Huh? Is 2 plus 4 greater than what? 3. Is that true? Is 6 greater than 3? So far it can still be a triangle. What's left? Or 3 plus 4, is that bigger than what? What's the third side then? 2. And we call this kind of the third side. Is 7 greater than 2? Yes, it is. Pay attention, please. So can this be a triangle? Yes, it can. Why? Well, because it fit all three of these, did it not? Let's keep going here. Don't write. Just pay attention. Here. What could I put? 1 plus 2. Is that greater than? What do I get? Is 3 greater than 3? Do I even need to go on anymore? No, that cannot be a triangle. Why? Because of that right there. It's false. I got a false statement. So to prove that it can be a triangle, you're going to have to do 3 of them, right? To prove it can't, you may only have to do 1. You may have to do 2. If any one of these 3 don't work, what do you say? No, that can't be a triangle. Let's talk about this one. Okay, first of all, 8.9 plus what? 9.3. Is that bigger than 18.3?
No.
Is 18.2 bigger than 18.3? So what's the answer here? No, that's false. That cannot be a triangle. So this is pretty easy, isn't it? Mario, how about you bring those up here? Set them right there. Now, go back to the others. Given 2 sides, how do I find what numbers, plural, the third side could be? Well, if I gave you 2 numbers for a triangle, if I gave you A and B, you know that A plus B has to be bigger than what? C, whatever the one, this third one we're trying to find over here, right? Does everybody agree? The question is, so let's say I gave 5 and 2. 5 plus 2 would, so C would have to be what? Less than what? 7? Would everyone agree? Just watch. Would you guys agree that C would have to be less than 7? Because it's, you know, I can't add 5 and 2 up, and the third side can't be bigger than what they are added together, correct? Isn't that what we just learned? Okay, however, Can you guys think me some numbers there that wouldn't work? No, 6 would work. I'm talking about all the numbers less than 7. Can you guys think of a number that wouldn't work less than 7? How about 0? How about -2? How about -3? Is that possible to have a side of -2 that has a length of -2? Where's the minus go, right? So how do I find the other side? Basically, the side is always going to be between two numbers. And here's the nice thing. And I'm going to write a kind of note here. The third side will always be less than the sum of the other two sides and greater than the difference of the other two sides. And I guess I should put positive difference. In other words, if you had 2 and 5, you don't want to do 2 minus 5, do you? You want to do what? 5 minus 2. You want to make sure it's positive. If you want to write that in symbol form, C, your third side, will always be less than A plus B and always greater than the absolute value of A minus B. In other words, absolute value means what? Positive, right? It'll always work out like that. So if I said you had one of 5 and 2, where do I know C's got to be between? Everybody look up here, you can finish writing in just a second. C has got to be less than what? Those two added together, which is what? And it's got to be greater than those two subtracted, which is? 3. So you know that the only things that'll work are the numbers between what? 3 and what? Those numbers, it'll work to be a triangle. Anything outside of that won't work, will it? Write that down and then we'll do some examples. So we're going to start on number 11. You guys tell me when I can unfreeze that and we can go. Is there anybody left writing? Okay. It says two sides of a triangle have the following measures. Find the range of possible measures for the third side. So, the third side, we'll call it C, has always got to be less than the what? Sum and greater than the difference. So C is going to be less than what? 3 plus what? 7. And greater than 7 minus 3. So what is C in between? 4 and what? Well, that sure isn't very hard, is it? Look at number 12. What do you think? What's going to be the biggest number it can? It's got to be less than what number? 17. And bigger than what number? 7. Does everybody see that? 12 minus 5 is 7. 12 plus 5 is what? 17. How about here? C has got to be what? Less than what?
1500.
And it's got to be greater than what?
1.
There you go. So here, C has got to be what? Less than, it's got to be greater than what?
119.
It's got to be greater than 7 and less than 100 and what? So some have a lot of numbers possible, some don't have nearly as many, do they? As I said, that's, when you ask me if it was hard, this will, it may confuse some people, but it's not that hard, huh? But once you get it, but at first it may seem, well, what do you mean? You know. But once you get it. Now, they'll give you some problems like this. On number 15, the sum of xz and yz is greater than what? So they want you to talk in terms of the picture. Okay, they're saying xz, this right here, plus what? Yz, that right there, what's that got to be greater than? The one that's left, which is what? X, y, right? Would you agree? So they're just wanting you to talk in terms of what? What x, y, y, z, that kind of stuff. 16, if x, y is 10 and y, z is 8.5, the next c must be greater than what? Well, it's got to be greater than,
XZ.
well, no, here they gave you numbers though. So greater than what? 1.5? 10 minus 8.5 is 1.5, and it's got to be less than what?
18.
18.5. Easy peasy, right?